musical taste, and a love for Disney. But what makes him even more unique is the fact that he came into boxing with a retirement age in mind, and that age is slowly creeping closer.
Right and left, and that is it! History is made in Tokyo, Japan!
But first, let's take a deep dive into the Inoue family business. So number 11, the family business. Naoya Inoue is one of the best boxers on the planet, and he has his dad to thank for that. His father, Shingo Inoue, started training in boxing in his early 20s, when Inoue was just a baby. However, because of other obligations in his life, Shingo could no longer properly pursue the career path of a professional boxer, and had to give it up in order to provide for his family with a more stable life. No doubt Inoue's early love for boxing was handed down by his father. One reason that Inoue's father gave up boxing is because he saw that his son, only 5 years old at the time, not only gained interest in the sport, but was obsessed with it. Inoue's father coached his son from a young age, but didn't give him any special privileges. Inoue has said that his father was extremely strict with him, so we can only imagine the training was akin to a Rocky montage. And the crazy thing is, there is another boxer in the Inoue household, Takuma Inoue. Younger brother of Naoya Inoue, is also a professional boxer and has won prestigious belts like the WBA bantamweight title. So it is safe to say that boxing is the family business for Inoue's. And judging by the history that the Inoue family has made, business is booming. Number 10, made boxing history. Many of Inoue's boxing accomplishments and victories are pretty well known. He has captured belts in several weight classes and made plenty of history throughout his career. But there are a few historical feats that have gone under the radar. Starting with the fact that Inoue was named the 2019 Boxer of the Year by the Boxing Writers Association of America. This made him the very first Japanese boxer to win this prestigious award. Another historical feat came when he won the WBO Super Flyweight Championship.
This is unbelievable for Inoue.
He did so in record-setting time in just his 8th professional fight, while jumping up 2 weight classes. Inoue holds the record for being the fastest Japanese boxer to win a world title in 3 different weight classes. Now, part of the secret sauce has been the fact that Inoue found the love of his life famous. Number 9, married his high school sweetheart. There is the classical saying that behind every successful man there is a woman, and that seems to be the case with Inoue as well. Inoue began dating his wife Sakiya when the two were still in high school. The couple were together for nearly 7 years before tying the knot on December 1st, 2015. When the couple first got married, it was Inoue's wish to have 3 children. And in April of 2021, the couple welcomed their 3rd child, a baby girl. Previously, the two had a boy in 2017 and their first daughter in 2019. His children have been a big source of inspiration for Inoue, and are one of the main reasons why he trains as hard as he does. Inoue has been asked whether he would want any of his children to follow in his footsteps and become professional boxers. And as of right now, Inoue isn't sure if he'd like them to do that. Perhaps the boxing champ wishes his children to carve their own paths in life. But one thing he can share with his kids is his love of manga. Number 8, his favorite manga. So if you were to guess what a professional boxer's favorite manga would be, you would be correct in selecting Hajime no Ippo. The manga follows a young hopeful boxer named Ippo as he attempts to become the best boxer in the world, and in doing so, learns invaluable life lessons through the art of boxing, and all thanks to his coaches and teammates. Now we can imagine that Inoue found a ton of things to relate to as he read and watched Hajime no Ippo, but thankfully he has a better defense than Ippo. But both guys pack some monstrous power. Along with manga, Inoue spends his free time watching family flicks with his wife and kids. Number 7, big fan of Disney. When you think about a boxing superstar, you're likely to imagine people like Floyd Mayweather Jr. or Mike Tyson. These uber-rich celebrity boxers flaunt their riches in the shapes of diamond necklaces and watches, or a driveway full of sports cars. But the Japanese superstar wouldn't fit into this mold. Coming from humble beginnings, Inoue has kept his modest life. He doesn't spend his free time partying. Instead, the monster gets cozy with his family and does movie nights, where his favorite Disney movie is Aladdin. He would rather spend his free time at Disneyland taking his kids on different rides, especially his favorite, Space Mountain. Now, you wouldn't expect someone nicknamed Monster that would be such a softie, but it's not like he picked that name for himself. Number 6. Legendary nickname. Inoue goes by the nickname Monster because of his otherworldly knockout power.
Body shot again!
However, he didn't always like the name. Early on in his career, he said that he wasn't a big fan of the name because it put too much stress on him to live up to the moniker. Someone nicknamed the Monster can't just go out there and win a fight using his jab. He has to knock guys out cold. He got the nickname from early on in his career from a gym owner who attended his debut boxing match. The owner was once known as a fighting genius, but he nicknamed Inoue Kaibutsu, which means monster. But the nickname is certainly apt as Inoue has gone on to live up to the monster name as he showcases his monstrous power in almost every fight he has ever been in. Speaking of knockouts, number 5, incredible knockout power. Inoue has had 25 fights so far and has won 22 of them via KO or TKO. This brings his knockout ratio to a staggering 88%. Some of his victims include guys like Stephen Fulton, Donaire, and Peano. And perhaps the scariest thing about his power is that he is able to carry it across several different weight divisions. He often breaks his opponents down with body shots before landing that knockout blow. And Inoue has his idol, Julio Cesar Chavez, to thank for that, as he grew up idolizing the legendary Mexican boxer. Inoue admired Chavez's relentless body attack and incorporated similar techniques into his own style. Another thing that is uniquely Inoue's is his choice of walkout music. Number 4, fan of instrumentals. Now, boxing ring walks are a spectacle in themselves. Oftentimes, boxers come out with some of the biggest musicians, like when Eminem walked out Bud Crawford, or else the choice of ring walk is rather aggressive in order to hype up the boxer. You can often hear boxers using rappers like DMX or Prodigy, but Inoue has the complete opposite approach. He doesn't need to get hyped, he doesn't need an aggressive song. He relies on soulful instrumental tracks by Japanese composer Naoki Sato along with a few other composers. His favorite song is titled Departure, used in both his WBSS fights. Now maybe he should have gone with something a bit aggressive when he took on Donaire the first time. Number 3, almost suffered his first career loss. One of Inoue's most legendary fights was his brutal back and forth with Donaire. The fight would be voted the fight of the year by Ring Magazine, but during the fight, Inoue came the closest he has ever come to losing. Part of that had to do with his brutal weight cut prior to the fight, where he gained back only 3 kilograms after weigh-in and felt that his movement was completely off because of the poor recovery. Because of that, he couldn't produce his usual destructive power. On top of that, he was hurt badly in the 9th round. Inoue has said that it was the most hurt he has ever been in his career. What's even crazier is that Inoue fought most of the fights with a broken right orbital after Donaire landed a clear left hook in the 2nd round. But Inoue was able to use his grit and determination and stay in the fight and hurt Donaire several times before pulling off the win. And when the two rematched, Inoue left no doubts about it. One thing that can be doubted is how much longer the monster will continue fighting. Number 2, approaching retirement. Well, boxing is often looked as a young man's game, and smart boxers typically come into boxing with a deadline, so they know exactly when they will leave the game behind. That seems to be the case with Inoue, who started boxing at the tender age of 6 and had a few goals in mind when he began. One of them was to earn enough so that he doesn't need to do an exhibition match after retirement. Well, he can cross that one off of his list. And the other was to retire when he turned 35 years old. Well, he's currently 30, so it seems like the deadline might be in sight. However, there is some hope for us Inoue fans who want to see him keep performing. He has stated that he might change his mind about the retirement age if he feels like he's still improving and getting better as a boxer as he approaches 35. The way he has been looking recently, better. Still, a smart fighter knows when to hang it up, and an even smarter fighter knows what he wants to do afterwards. Number 1, plans after boxing. Now, we stated earlier that boxing has become the Inoue family business. It seems like the love of boxing for Inoue goes deeper than simply fighting in the ring. After retirement, he stated that he wouldn't leave the business entirely. Instead, he might put on his promoter hat and try his hand out in that part of the game. Otherwise, we already know that the Inoue family is good at creating future world champions, so we can definitely see Inoue going toward the coaching route once he retires. And who wouldn't want to be coached by the legendary Naoya Inoue? Now, if you enjoyed this video, then please give it a like and don't forget to subscribe to the channel. Hit the little bell beside it so that you're notified the next time we upload a new video. With that being said, you just watched us break down these surprising facts about Naoya Inoue. We'll see you next time.